on video, or at least put me on video with you, Danielle, as I'm talking to you. Um, I can't wait to show you the design of this of as I think I told you about when I have the posters. I have two really cool posters I'm gonna put up and like a bunch of show posters I'm gonna have up as well. So once it's gonna be behind me, and I'll be picking those posters up. I should have picked them up on last Friday because I went to go see Brody King, but because I was in such a rush to get home and then get to the train on time out to Berwyn, and you saw me, I got there before the doors opened. I didn't want to be late for ICW No Holds Barred. And yeah, I totally forgot to pick up the posters when I was right at the store. But I got to meet Brody King. So that was an adventure in itself, to meet Brody King, 1/3 of the trios at Pro Wrestling Tea Store, which reopened for a pop-up shop.
Yeah, I actually heard about that. I actually saw that photo, and that was really awesome.
Yes. Brody King, of course. He was formerly of the big group with, you know who I'm talking about, right? In Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I
With,
did have an idea. The House of Black.
well, he's with House of Black now, but he was part of that Evil Incorporated. You know what I'm talking about with the Umbrella guy, Marty Scurll.
Oh,
You know that the name of that group was called? I forget.
Villain Enterprises.
Villain Enterprises. Yes. So
There we go.
exactly. So it was great to catch up with Brody King, and I got to talk to him. Really friendly. So AEW's presence was definitely felt. We go to ICW 47. Some of the matches on that card just insane. Like, I mean, for a show that's only death matches, right? And
It was intense, man.
it was.
There was,
There was some changes made to the card because I believe Neil Diamond Cutter couldn't make it. So
yes, it was originally supposed to be, um, who was Tommy Vendetta facing again?
I think he was taking on Doctor Redacted, or
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be Tommy Vendetta. No, wait. Dr. Redacted versus Neil Diamond Cutter, I think. But obviously, Tommy Vendetta had to come in because Neil couldn't make it.
right. It was actually I think Neil and Nate Webb.
Yeah, it was Neil versus Nate Webb for that one.
Yeah.
And then you were supposed to have. I'm trying to remember. It was somebody versus. I know Matt Tremont was also supposed to be there.
Yes.
But unfortunately, both of them the week prior to this upcoming weekend were a part of a 700 light tube death match, and both of them sustained injuries that
That's crazy.
they were unable to make it. And so, guys, give your thoughts and prayers to Matt Tremont and Neil Diamond Cutter.
Yeah.
Especially Matt Tremont, who's, from what I heard yesterday, he's still in the hospital. He ended up getting a really bad gash on his leg from the tubes and stuff. And apparently, he ended up getting from one of the bocce boys. Shout out to our boys over there. They actually also found out that he had also sustained a small infection,
Mm-hmm.
and he had the fever going on with it. So just
Wow.
pray for him and keep your thoughts and stuff with them as they heal and recoup and are able to hopefully one day get back into the ring soon.
Yeah, exactly. And he's also a member of the GCW roster as well as Mac Tremont. But that is crazy. The 700 light tube death matches. For me, I'm not a huge deathmatch guy. I enjoy like GCW, and this was only the second ICW event I went to. I didn't go to the one they had last year. Man, it started off with Vendetta, Nate Webb. That was a fun one. Tommy Vendetta defeated Nate Webb, and that really wasn't a bloody match. It was just more like a brawl, and then it was a table filled with some fatal Legos, I would assume.
They were those Mega Blocks, big versions of Legos.
Yeah.
And then, of course, shout out to me and my brother. We actually got our feet used in that match.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
We know.
Then you have Doctor Redacted versus Satu Jin, and that was the longest match of the night. Actually, it's recorded as 15 minutes 7 seconds, and Doctor Redacted defeated Satu Jin. Of course, they had the table, the barbed wire that Doctor Redacted went through, And Satu Jin is a beast. Like he is really big, you know.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I've been keeping up with a lot of ICW ever since my brother got me hooked onto him,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, you're in for a treat when Satu Jin shows up, just because of how like his presence is like strong, and he also is really good at like cutting people open, especially with his knife thing, whatever it's that one
Yeah.
type of knife is typically called.
Doctor Redacted was insane. That guy is just when he comes out, he starts shoving people,
I know.
antagonizing the crowd. You know, he literally is a doctor that is gone the wrong way, opposite of a medical career. He just wants to experiment and destroy. You know what I mean? Carve up people, and he does it really nicely as well, man. All those light tubes he brewed on. Like, this match was like, I was like, the first match has no blood. What's going on? This match, oh my goodness, they were bleeding from the first couple minutes. You know? It was insane.
Yeah, I know. Like, but then we also got the treat of seeing Doctor Redacted on NHB 48 as well, so that was
Yeah.
very fun.
Did you go to the other one, the Ruthless?
No, unfortunately, we did not get a chance to make it.
The next match, Bobby Beverly defeated Eric Ryan. 6 minute 25 says these guys are definitely a death match veterans. I know Eric Ryan was at the Nick Gage Invitational like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I think he won the Nick Gage Invitational, didn't he?
I think so, but that would be something my brother would know, and I'm not going to annoy him during his chill time.
And Bobby Beverly gets a shot at the American Deathmatch Championship. ICW No Holds Barred next month in I believe next month, or is it this month? Probably next month in Tennessee. And number one contendership was on the line for this one.
Yep.
Then we got the Shaza and Danny Demento and Demonto. I always keep saying Demonto. And Shaza defeats the owner of the company. And this was like a history between them two, right? They had a death match or something like a hardcore match prior. And it was in Australia.
That one too.
What's up?
I remember watching that match, and it was really well done.
But this is the first death match that Shaza McKenzie competed in that I am aware of, or has she competed in death matches before?
I am not 100% positive, but I know she's been known to do like hardcore matches and stuff.
Right.
And obviously, this was way back when NHB really got back into swing of things. So she was originally supposed to show up at NHB 2, but obviously we know what happened. The world shut down, and she was unable. Everything was halted. But I know her and Danny had a history before then at another promotion. So I think that one was just like a hardcore match, but I know she has been known to really get into it sometimes, even with tubes here and there. So
Yeah. We go look at Danny Demonto, and yeah, he lost that match, but he put Shaza over, saying she moved to the U.S. and Shaza got her flowers, of course, again, because she's doing it. This girl is competing in promotions every weekend in the U.S. And she's not the only one. More women from Europe, from Australia, they're coming over to America, and I love it. They're moving permanently to make their careers, establish their careers here. And Shaza McKenzie, man, when she jumped off that turnbuckle into a bed of light tubes on Danny Demonto on the table, that was crazy. Then Danny Demonto took the pokey sticks to Shaza's face. And although she wasn't bleeding like profusely like she did in GCW, I don't know if you saw the match she did with Maki Ito. It was Masha Slamovich defending the title against all women. And Maki Ito took the pizza cutter to Shaza. Maki Death Ito. What do you think of Maki Death Ito? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think Nick Gage should never have given her the pizza cutter or, honored her with that? What are your thoughts on Nick Gage endorsing Maki Ito?
MDK all fucking day. That's all I'm gonna say.
So you had no problem with it?
I have no problem with it whatsoever.
Okay. Some people they don't really care for it too much. I won't mention them, but it's and she's crazy. I don't know if you've seen the highlights. She takes that pizza cutter and starts slicing people. Like she did it to Steph Belander. Oh, she did it to Ollie Catch. And now she did it to Shaza, and Shaza's face was a mess. I don't know if you saw her pictures on social media, so that's what I was expecting in this match. I thought Shaza's face, Danny DeMonto, was gonna take that tube to Shaza and cut her open, but I think Shaza had other matches booked, and they kind of played it more safely. Were you surprised she wasn't a bloody mess after that?
No, because obviously, like you had just mentioned, you bring up a valid point that she could have been scheduled for other shows, and obviously in those shows she's normally like the face is the moneymaker kind of
Right.
promotion. So they really couldn't. They wanted to like have her bleed a little bit, but not so profusely that you couldn't like get it taken care of with just a little bit of makeup and stuff. So
Definitely. Well, Shaza McKenzie, who was at CSW, she went on to the following night in GCW and unsuccessful in winning the GCW title. And Maki Death Ito made sure she carved her up like a pizza, an Aussie pizza. Go back and watch that if you haven't already. The next match was the Rejects, John Wayne Murdoch and Reed Bentley. I hadn't seen them together in a while. They defeated Lufisto and Mickey Knuckles. And wow, Lufisto, I've never seen her do a death match. She was bleeding all over the place. Mickey Knuckles as well. I love that when they just sat down in the ring and they just started exchanging shots with one another. That was fun. What were some of the other highlights you loved? They just used a lot of light tubes. I mean, this was like the second longest match of the night.
I actually loved it because I like I've always liked the rejects, but I've also loved the godmothers of deathmatch wrestling and Mickey Knuckles and Lufisto. This wasn't the first deathmatch I've seen with Lufisto. I've seen her compete at other NHBs prior to this one,
Right.
so I've kind of seen her in that element. They both sides did a really great job, and I actually got the photo with Lufisto before that match, and I also got when I was leaving the venue, Mickey Knuckles was standing outside, and I actually got a chance to get a quick selfie and tell her thank you for all that you women have done
Oh,
in
for
the
sure.
wrestling business, because doing that so we can be just as hardcore and badass as the men.
Oh yeah. They no doubt they can dish it out. And I actually talked to Mickey Knuckles and had her sign the PWI magazine. She didn't even know she was in there. She was tearing up. She was emotional before she signed it.
Doc, I would believe that.
She had no clue. I don't think she knew she was in the magazine, and she was like, "Oh wow, I can't believe it! All these years I've been doing this, I'm being recognized." I don't even think that was her first year in the magazine, but maybe she was unaware that she was in it last year. But that was awesome moment, and I've only seen her at like Black Label Pro. I've never seen her do death matches, so that was pretty interesting. Um, I know she has a history of death matches, but I haven't seen her done that as well. And the rejects, Murdoch and Bentley, they are tough as they come, man. They are a death match specialist tag team or tornado tag team. They don't really tag in death matches. I don't think, right? There's no.
No, in
Yeah.
deathmatch tag team, it's Texas Tornado.
Texas Tornado. Yeah, they were awesome. Reed Bentley is of course a former ICW No Holds Bar champion. We saw him win that in Chicago in 2022.
Yep.
And then Hoodfoot, the champion, the ICW American Deathmatch World Title was on the championship was on the line, and he defeated Abdullah Kobayashi, Cruel, and Tank. And this was our first experience with Kobayashi, right? You've never seen him before.
No, I have not.
What does he remind you of? He is a sick, twisted, demented.
Who does he remind me of? I have no idea.
He reminds me of Abdullah the Butcher a little bit.
Kinda, yeah.
And Cruel was just like a monster, just going after it with the light tubes and the knot and the blades and everything. And Tank, he's actually a legend in the deathmatch community as well. Hoodfoot defended the title. That was a fun one between all four guys. And so I would like to ask you about the following night. Would you mention like a couple matches you enjoyed?
Okay, let
Yeah.
was one of the top ones. Max the Impaler versus Lufisto.
Right.
Even though this one ended in a no contest, the Kirks taking on Cruel, no contest because of like the storyline that they're trying to build for it.
Right.
And there were two boards in that ring. If you hadn't have a chance to watch, the two wooden boards, were created. They were in that match.
That was yours.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So, I actually got one of the boards signed by Casey Kirk, Brandon Kirk, and Cruel. And then the other one was originally supposed to be auctioned off during the ICW live sale, but unfortunately when they were loading the van, there was no more room, so it didn't make the cut, but stuff happens. It was just fun to finally be able to create something for a show.
Yeah.
But the match of the night, though, was definitely Foot versus John Wayne Murdoch.
I can only imagine. Also, how was the match between Lufisto and Max the Impaler?
Max the Impaler won, but Max the Impaler is no joke, man. You don't want to fuck with her.
Did they use light tubes in that match, or was it more like a street fight?
There was light tubes.
Damn. I never seen.
Light tubes.
Wow.
And she actually got thrown up against one of the walls, and she also had a gash. There was blood just all over that particular wall that she was getting ran into.
Damn. Well, we'll have to come back and recap and preview the next No Holds Barred show as well. I'm going to start following it.
Yeah, it is definitely one of those promotions. Like, if you're like me and my brother, who are kind of sick, sadistic, and psychotic.
Yeah.
Deathmatches definitely is a way for us to, like, get those, like, feelings and anger out.
Right.
Basically, we live vicariously through the deathmatch wrestlers. But, I mean, like I said, the match of the night was definitely John Wayne Murdoch versus Hood, but the match started off good, and then there was interference by Atticus Kogar and Otis Kogar.
Wow.
Promoting Circle 6, which is also this Saturday in Chicago.
Yeah.
At the Reggie's Broad Club. Unfortunately, we are not going to that because it's in downtown, and we do not fuck with downtown. Yeah,
I'm probably not going to it as well. That's cool though. And then let's talk about GCW Ride or Die. Let's get into this card. Let's get into it.
Okay.
So GCW Ride or Die. This is the next show that's in Chicago. It will not feature any death matches because of the venue.
Right.
Which it's fine because they really put on a great show last time, in my opinion. Nick Gage, although GCW Ride or Die will not feature any death matches, Nick Gage just came off a great match with Zack Sabre Jr. And last time he was there, him and Matt Tremont, they took on Nick Wayne and the East-West Express, Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver for the GCW Tag Team titles. It was a great match. This Friday, four guys we're probably all familiar with are going to be in a tag team match. Alec Price, Cole Radrick versus the Bang Bros, August Matthews and Davey Bang. I'm excited for this one.
You know that one's going to be a high flyer.
Yes. And that venue is so ridiculous. Like, we got to have balcony box seats or something. We have our own box, me and Chicago Rob, with a group of people. But you can actually walk downstairs anytime you want and get closer to the action. And it's such like a old style iconic venue.
That's awesome. I'll see if my brother would ever consider a Valley Hall show.
Yes. Commander versus Jordan Oliver is the next match on the card. That's going to be insane. Jordan Oliver has just stepped it up. And I haven't seen him since Black Label Pro, where he teamed up with the Bang Bros to take on Too Cold Scorpio, I think Trey Lamar, and the next guy was Human Highlight, Isaiah Moore, and that was a great match as well.
Yeah, that's going to be another good show, or you're in it for just the traditional matches, that GCW is definitely the promotion for you if you love a little bit of everything.
Yes.
So, I mean, everybody and their uncle, if you haven't been watching GCW, you need to get on it because it's got something for everybody, especially those high-flying lucha libre matches they get sometimes.
Yes.
Literally has something for everyone.
Well, we're going to have those coming up, too, because the Commander and Joe Alva are going to deliver. Commander has been doing his thing in Mexico in AEW. Now he's officially signed, and I'm glad he can be at this event in GCW. Next up, we have Ares versus Jack Cartwheel. This is definitely a different match. I like it. Both are extreme luchadors. Jack Cartwheel has been working in AAA as well in Mexico as Ares has. And Ares is a former Galley champion of Galley Lucha Libre here in Chicago. So I can't wait for this one. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it is. I mean, especially with when Jack Cartwheel's involved. He's an amazing talent.
I have never seen Jack Cartwheel live, to my knowledge, in Chicago.
I mean, I think maybe
I don't think this is his first time doing GCW in Chicago.
Well, I know I've seen him through Fight TV.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm just saying live. I think this is the first time I've seen him.
Has he done Black Label Pro?
No, he hasn't. Not to my knowledge. Not the ones in Crown Point, Indiana. I think he did a promotion called Second Wrestling once. And that was his first. That's his only time he's been here. That's gonna be a fun one. Watch out for Ares, man. He loves to play with mind games of his opponents. And Jack Cartwheel is just a high risk flyer, so it's gonna be fun. Los Macizos, Ciclope, and Medo Extremo are teaming up with Rina Yamashita. I actually been watching the GCW tournament of Survival. So I'm sorry. Rina Yamashita taking on Second Gear Crew, Manders, John Wayne Murdoch, and Reed Bentley. Isn't that interesting? Or Mance Warner. I never thought I'd see Mance Warner, Manders, and John Wayne Murdoch team up. I never thought we'd see John Wayne Murdoch. I never thought we'd see John Wayne Murdoch join the Second Gear Crew. Did you?
No, but that is actually a shock. Normally they would never do that. But it's going to be a fun one. I hope Second Gear Crew and John Wayne Murdoch win.
Me too.
But you can never count out Rita and
Macizos.
Yeah, you can never count them out too because they're high flyers and stuff. That could go either way, to be honest with you, because both sides have so much history in the ring that it's hard to call that one just based on what I know. True.
And I'm looking at the champions. I believe Yamashita. I believe Yamashita is the current GCW Ultraviolent champion still.
I'm not 100% positive, but we could always check that later.
Yeah, but she just came off the match, death match with Masha Slamovich for the GCW championship at the Cager Survival. And guess who ended up winning the championship? Neither Rena or Masha walked out. It was Blake Christian, who cashed in his anywhere, anytime, anyplace shot at the championship.
That's right.
And now he is the GCW champion. He takes on Gringo Loco in Chicago, in Gringo's home. So let's just go right to that match. I'm excited to see this one.
That is going to be a fun one. I mean, we've seen Blake at a bunch of different GCW shows. We saw him just recently at CSW.
Right.
But we're also no stranger to Gringo Loco, who's done freelance underground.
Right.
And of course a bunch of GCW Black Label Pro shows. So
yeah,
they got a lot of history in their respective to go head to head. You got the ground and it's gonna be a high flying.
Yes.
Also, you can't count out Blake Christian because he's also known for his brawler style.
Right.
So he's kind of like the mixed bag.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. I say Blake retains, but you never count out Gringo Loco. He always has tricks up his sleeve.
Oh yeah. I'm going with Blake Christian to win this one if I had to guess, because he just cheats, man. That guy just gets away with murder, and in GCW, there is no countouts or disqualifications, so he's just getting away with it. And we saw him cheat.
It ain't cheating unless you get caught. And
Yeah, well, he can't get caught because there's no countouts or disqualifications in GCW.
Exactly. So.
We'll see if there's someone that can dethrone him, but I mean, Gringo's gonna give him a run for his money for sure. I mean, he's gonna be in pain. The way that man bases, you know what I mean? The way he throws you and levitates you across that ring is insane. And I haven't seen Gringo in quite some time, and he's just coming off a big match with Ray Phoenix at AAW Professional Wrestling.
And I also know he's doing matches now with the Ring of Honor too.
Yes, he just fought Willie Mack at the last Ring of Honor show taping in Chicago after it was prior to Collision.
Yeah, that is gonna be insane. I gotta go see if I can find a way to watch Ring of Honor. I think Ring of Honor Club is back, but
Yes, it is.
We'll see if I decide to dish out some coin for that one.
Okay, so to round out the card. To round out the card, we have Lufisto against Steph DeLander.
Oh, man. That's going to be sick.
Yeah.
I mean, both females are strong. Obviously, the height goes to Steph DeLander, but build-wise, they're kind of similar. And their styles are similar, too. So that's going to be... I think that one's going to be hard to call, but I think Steph DeLander wins because with help from the deathmatch bitch, Matt Cardona.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Matt Cardona is not going to be there, but you never know. And I think Lufisto is going to, definitely give Steph a run for money, but Steph DeLander definitely has the height over Lufisto. And we've never seen Steph compete in a death match before, and we know that she is going to go against, I believe it is Maki Ito. I think she has a singles match. I don't know if it happened already, but I know that was a match she was supposed to have as well, and I don't think it happened yet. I forget what other matches she supposedly still has to happen, but... she has a lot of matches. Only 26 years of age, and I last saw her in Shimmer live, so I'm looking forward to seeing her then. She had a match. Not too long ago. Steph DeLander had a match with Mance Warner in Black Label Pro as well, a hardcore match where she lost. She and Matt Cardona lost to Sawyer Rack and Joey Janela. And I have to mention that Sawyer Rack and Steph kissed during that match. And Steph DeLander defeated Maki Ito back at GCW I Can't Save You in Columbus, Ohio. I actually missed that show. So she did beat Maki Ito, but she has yet to spill blood in a death match.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but that one's going to be one that you would want to grab your...
Yeah.
For me, it'd be grabbing my blanket, my trusty stuffed hippos, a cuddle, and a bag of popcorn.
And guess what else? She also... she and Mike Cardona defeated Los Macizos back in GCW Into the Light. They cheat, of course, but they won that one, which was surprising. And Steph DeLander and Matt Cardona defeated the Kirks. But she hasn't wrestled many single matches in GCW. She did have the title match against Masha Slamovich, which was a very short match, by the way. That was like an impromptu match. It wasn't even scheduled. But we'll see if she continues her singles wins in GCW.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going with Steph DeLander in this one.
Yeah, me too. Just because, like, I feel like something's gonna happen. Like, even though he's not scheduled to appear, you never know.
True. All right. So next up on the card. Next next up on the card is going to be a Lucha Classic. It is going to be Metalik versus El Hijo del Vikingo. El Hijo. El Hijo del Vikingo. I'm trying to get the pronunciation right. El Hijo. That's going to be insane.
I actually have no way of actually calling this one because I have to go look at these guys' work.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of the names, but I've just never seen any of their matches before. So, but regardless, anytime there's a Lucha Libre match on a card, you're just in for basically a thing of pure ballet and poetry and motion because of how fluid they are.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna, if I get a chance, if I'm not busy on Friday, I'm definitely tuning in.
Yeah, definitely do it.
I will definitely be enjoying that.
Vikingo is undefeated in GCW, I believe. I think he defeated Blake Christian, Alex Zane. He's defeated also. Some of the matches didn't air because of the Lucha Libre rights. But once they got that taken care of, he defeated Commander. He's defeated Gringo Loco. So I believe El Hijo del Vikingo is undefeated in GCW.
Wow, that's awesome though.
I know, and he'll be rematching Gringo Loco against Fuerza in a triple threat match at Warrior Wrestling, which is happening next weekend. That is going to be next Friday. That's going to be also insane. And for the Lucha Championship of Warrior Wrestling. He also defeated Ninja Mac at the Cage of Survival 2. He also defeated Gringo Loco and Commander in a triple threat matchup as well in GCW. And, and he's been winning on Rampage. He's been winning everywhere, pretty much. He lost the championship, the Lucha Championship, to Gringo in a triple threat match of Eras back at the last Warrior Wrestling, but he's coming back to reclaim his championship. You can believe that.
That's amazing. Sorry, just cleaning my glasses here.
No worries.
Okay, now I can see better. Perfect.
It certainly is impressive for Vikingo, who's defeated in Laredo Kid in GCW at Gringo Loco's The World on Lucha. He's also defeated Mike Bailey at GCW Janela's Spring Break 7 as well. And in GCW, he also defeated Commander, and I believe he defeated Blake Christian and Alex Zane, but those were non-televised matches. So he is racking up wins. He is undefeated as far as I can see in GCW.
Yeah, because I know when you have like lucha, like contracts with certain things, it's kind of hard to show. So, but yeah, that is an impressive streak, especially up against like talent that's been a part of GCW for a long time. Like,
yeah,
to get that success right off the bat is insane.
Yes, it is. And going back in his history, he has a win over Joey Janela in his GCW debut.
Oh, wow.
And he defeated Gringo Loco one-on-one at GCW Don't Talk to Me. And when he defeated Joey Janela, it was GCW Till Infinity. That was like the New Year's Eve show. I think that was his first match in GCW. I don't know if he beat Blake Christian. Maybe I have to take that back. It was Alex Zane he had. Oh, no, he did. He defeated Blake Christian in Ring of Honor Club. That's what it was. In Ring of Honor, he defeated Blake Christian one-on-one. But not GCW. GCW, Blake Christian's a whole different animal, you know?
Well, aren't all wrestlers different animals in different...
Pretty much. But yeah, I think he's going to continue.
Mackenzie being all cutesy-wootsy and other promotions, and then she just turns into this hardcore badass in deathmatch
Yeah. She and Sierra had a good match in AAW. That show you can watch also includes Gringo Loco and Ray Phoenix in the main event. It's called Uno Mas. And a shout out to AAW Pro before we end our podcast. They had their event unfortunately canceled. Irving Hall, which took the bookings from Logan Square Auditorium, because Logan Square Auditorium was booked for professional wrestling fans. They had to go to Portage Park from Logan Square because the burlesque Star Wars themed burlesque show was booked every weekend and during the week at Logan Square Auditorium. Irving Hall, the night of last show, Freelance vs. the World 9, got shut down by the city because they didn't have an active events license. And as a result, AAW Crush and Destroy was literally canceled the next day. Can you believe that? I know you've never been to AAW, but they are like a CSW. Their motto is AAW is family, and that's the name of their next event, which will be July 15th at the Berwyn Eagles Club. But, it's so unfortunate. They had...
Now I gotta do a shout out to Berwyn Eagles Club for stepping in and taking on as many dates as possible for AAW.
Yeah.
Even though it was last minute, but you have been a huge stepping stone for a lot of wrestlers. So shout out to the Berwyn Eagles Club, who also was the venue that hosted the ICW Ruthless Pro Weekend. You all were very hospitable. And also, guys, if you ever visit their bar, make sure you tip them well. They did an awesome job making sure that there was ample food, ample alcohol, and water on hand. So shout out to the Berwyn Eagles Club for really just helping out a wrestling promotion that could have been without a venue for the rest of the year, and then had to have told fans and talent that we are unable to run the rest of the year due to this situation.
Right.
But at least they were able to swoop in and help them where they needed it most. So way to go, guys.
Way to go, definitely. And AAW is family. That was my first ever independent event, and I will be at the next show.
I should definitely at some point check out an AAW show at some point.
Well, July 15th would be the perfect opportunity, man. It's AAW is family.
If we had to choose between going to the Berwyn Eagles or going to a show that's local, we're probably going to go to the POW show, but I'd probably even possibly skipping that.
Right.
Because a week after that, I'm getting my 4th tattoo done, so I need all the money possible for that.
I got you. Well, one of these days you'll have to come to AAW Pro Show. They'll be back in September. They'll be taking the month of August off, and their September card will be loaded, as it normally is for Labor Day weekend when AEW All Out weekend is in town. And a shout out to Sky Blue. We have to mention her because she got her first big victory on national TV, the debut of Collision in Chicago. And she showed PWE Report a little bit of love as well. She dropped a little gem, as I showed you. She actually posted the finish of her match that I captured at the United Center at Collision, where she and Will Nightingale were victorious against Tony Storm and Ruby Riot. So shout out to Sky Blue and getting it done, and the hometown girl gets it done again. She it was only her second televised win. Her first one was on Rampage. This one was Collision, and it seemed like she was just dropping match after match. And for her to be so over at United Center was amazing. A memorable night included the return of CM Punk, by the way. CM Punk and FTR defeated Bullet Club Gold, which was Juice Robinson and Jay White teaming up with Samoa Joe, the ROH TV champion. So that's my little recap of Collision. But Sky Blue came across as a big star. The fans were going crazy for her, and she was overwhelmed. And she even broke the internet with an infamous picture that is circling around as well. That's all I'll say on that. However, yep, the sky's the limit for Sky Blue. And it's just great that you got to see her at CSW right before her run ended.
Yeah, I know. I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to even get a photo with her before she hit it big. And Sky Blue, just know from Pro Wrestling Enforcer, we are proud of you. And and along with everybody, a part of the CSW locker room, we're all proud of you, and we're continuing to root for you as you achieve bigger things. And hopefully one day we see you lifting that AEW women's title in the future.
Hell yeah. It's going to happen one day. And I appreciate you, Danielle, being on PWE Podcast. And guys, we got a lot of stuff coming. We got new shirts that are going to be dropping hopefully next month. I'm just so behind on stuff. We might be taking a little breather for a couple weeks, but we'll be back to recap, or to preview rather, CSW in the heat of the night. This is their annual summer extravaganza they do every year. So we'll be back to preview that, which is happening on July 21st. Also, Black Label Pro presents Vacation, I believe it's called. That is going to be crazy. The debut of Zaya Brookside in the U.S. Well, she actually wrestled here before, but since NXT, she's moved to the U.S. against Billy Starks, Ratty Daddy Cole Radrick, Filthy Tom Lawler's going to be there. Oh, my goodness. That is another reason to come to the Berwyn's Eagles Club on the 22nd for BLP Vacation.
Yeah, I mean, then, of course, also next month, you have NHB 49 in Tennessee. And then in August, fun fact for y'all, me and my brother are doing our first ever out-of-state wrestling show. We are going to be going to NHB versus Detroit. Obviously, it's going to be the best deathmatch talent in the Detroit area taking on the veterans of NHB. So that is going to be fun, especially and then of course we're going to probably do some sightseeing on Sunday. So we'll see, but it's going to be a fun one.
We have AEW's Forbidden Door this Sunday as well. We didn't even go over that. And in July 1st, we have Pro Wrestling Revolver. If you have a chance to go to Clive, Iowa, their annual Cage of Horrors event is happening. Roderick Strong, Mike Speedball Bailey, SCG versus the Rascals in a street fight or some kind of crazy... Oh, it's the Cage of Horrors. We also know it's Jessica is going to be... And I'm just going off the top of my head with this, but I know Jessica is going to be a part of the show, and she has a bone to pick with none other than Alley Catch and JT Dunn, the Unit. And she is going to be in a wild tag team match in that one. And her tag team partner, guess who her tag team partner is going to be for this one?
Her boy, Sami Callihan.
Masha Slamovich in a tornado tag team match. That's right. After she, I believe she lost to Sami Callihan. I forget if she won or lost. That was a crazy. I don't know if you saw that death match between Masha and Sami. She is coming back. There's also a four corners match between ELP, Gringo, Oliver, Jordan Oliver, and Brian Keith. That match, Jake Chris versus Kevin Blackwood for the Wrestling Revolver World Championship as well. So if you're in the Clive, Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa area, I would recommend getting your tickets for Cage of Horrors, especially Roderick Strong and Mike Bailey. You cannot go wrong with that card. They are epic cards. If you're an Impact Wrestling fan or AEW fan, they have stars from AEW and Impact together. The best way I could describe a Revolver show is like combining Warrior Wrestling, the star power, with like the maturity of an AAW show. You combine them both, and then you got Revolver. It's just a fantastic show. You got to see it to believe it. They have death matches. They have everything. Scramble matches. They've got Lucha Libre, technical matches. It's just a great show. I wish I could go, but my funds are low. But watch it on Fight Plus. Chicago Rob, I believe, is going to be there. That is going to be it. I'm going to watch that live, actually. If I'm not doing anything on that Saturday, I'm going to watch that show. I'm going to watch that fucking show live because it is that good. You don't want to miss it when Revolver comes. And you got to go and subscribe to your YouTube channel if you haven't and watch their past matches. It are great shows, great matches. Sami Callihan and the crew at Revolver do a great job. And they have about a crowd of 3,000 for every show. 3,000 strong. Can you imagine that? That's how big the venue is.
That's insane, but I don't.
It's the
doubt it
biggest
because-
indie show I've been to. It has to be. So far.
Yeah, that would be about right.
Yeah, they really packed the house in Iowa there. And the tickets sell out. I mean, it's like the only thing going on, man. I mean, and they have wrestlers from New Japan, wrestlers from Impact, wrestlers from AEW. I mean, if you're if you're a wrestling fan, you cannot go wrong with a Revolver show.
No, you can't.
Definitely. Well, we are gonna go end because we got AEW on right now, coming on strong. So thank you guys, everybody. Thank you, Danielle, and see you soon. Next PWE report. Subscribe, share our podcast. Take a look out for the new PWE report shirts dropping next month as well.
All right, everybody.
TikTok. We are now on TikTok as well, and YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow and subscribe to everything. We appreciate you fans because we are here for you pro wrestling fans. We are Pro Wrestling Enforcer, and that is what we do.
Facts.
All right. Take care, Danielle.
You
Bye.
too.
Bye.